Have you ever suffered from insomnia? In other words, do you face the difficulty of falling asleep and staying asleep at night? So what causes it? Oftentimes, insomnia is caused by multiple reasons, such as not getting enough rest, hunger, psychological trauma, and so on. No matter what the reason is, millions of human beings suffer from the devil called insomnia. It robs you from getting enough rest, saps your energy, and destroys your productivity the next day. Not to mention the detrimental effect on your own physical and mental health. What is insomnia? Insomnia by definition is the difficulty of falling asleep and staying asleep. It refers to the types of restlessness a person suffers at different points of his or her sleep cycle. A simple indication to diagnose insomnia is when a person is not satisfied with the amount of sleep that he or she has been getting. Those with insomnia will feel the lack of energy, fatigue at different moments of the day, facing difficulty in concentrating on tasks, experiencing terrible mood disturbances, and having a low performance level in the workplace. It's possible for insomniacs to have any of these symptoms after staying awake throughout the night. A human body requires rest to rejuvenate both mind and body. A lack of rest in either one of them will result in fatigue and various mental illnesses. Although they are terribly exhausted to the core, they still fail to fall asleep or stay asleep due to different causes. The two types of insomnia. 1. Acute insomnia. There are two main types of insomnia. The first type is the kind of insomnia when you only suffer a couple of restless nights. Oftentimes, you're able to fall asleep and stay asleep easily. For many, insomniacs might not think that they are suffering from it, but the fact is, they could be having acute insomnia. So what is acute insomnia? This kind of insomnia comes from the core levels of stress that insomniacs are experiencing at that moment. They will face a short period where they are not able to fall asleep because of the life circumstances they're facing at that moment. This type of insomnia doesn't last for a prolonged time. Instead, it only happens due to certain factors or events during a specified period of time. For instance, acute insomnia might occur after insomniacs faced the wrath of their boss, gotten a bad grade on a test, got rejected by their crush, or merely because they're having a bad day. These situations can cause a person to have a night or two where he or she simply cannot get any sleep. Many people may have experienced this kind of insomnia and it tends to resolve on its own. 2. Chronic insomnia. The second type of insomnia is known as chronic insomnia. It's a prolonged kind of insomnia that occurs at least 3 nights per week and lasts for at least 3 months. Usually, this occurs when you are facing a significant change in your environment, physically or mentally. It could be moving to a new home, losing a loved one, being in a new workplace, facing challenges in school, or having trouble adapting to harsher weather. Perhaps, the reason why chronic insomniacs are having trouble with sleep is that they have an unhealthy sleep habit without a proper sleep routine. It's common in today's world. Modern society has screwed up the sleep cycle with short hours of sleep. To make things worse, most of them sleep at odd hours. They don't practice the habit of going to bed early and rising early the next day. As a result, the mind doesn't know when to shut down and would be accustomed to staying up late. That's the reason why insomnia has become a common problem in today's society. What people fail to understand is that the body will not be able to function with a small amount of sleep one night and expect to compensate for the sleep gap by taking naps later on during the day. While this may seem possible and useful in the beginning, this sleep pattern is not sustainable for the long term. Eventually, the mind and body will collapse, and you will experience complete exhaustion until you get enough rest. The best fix is to have a fixed schedule to sleep and practice a healthy sleep routine. Otherwise, you need to visit the doctor for medication. Typically, it will be linked to another medical or psychiatric issue, meaning that the reason why you might be having chronic insomnia will be due to stress. What seems to be a typical situation will seem stressful if you have chronic insomnia. A restless mind and body will feel annoyed by any stimulus from the immediate environment. The causes of insomnia. Regardless of the types of insomnia, the causes are the same. The difference lies in the intensity of emotions a person experiences for a set amount of time. Besides that, underlying medical conditions can also cause insomnia. Fortunately, insomnia is treatable in most cases. These medical conditions can be either severe or mild, inducing insomnia to occur at a different point in a person's life. These symptoms include nasal allergies, sinus allergies, lower back pain, overall chronic pain, gastrointestinal problems, arthritis, asthma, and other neurological problems. The stress on the patient's body will cause the mind to stay awake for a longer period of time. For instance, those who catch a cold will realize that they are staying awake for the majority of the night, or they might find themselves waking up frequently. Both of these factors can result in a person having a severe lack of sleep and rest. They might try to relax while having a cold, but insomnia will prevail. Physical pain can also cause insomnia, as the body cannot get into a comfortable position to rest. Have you ever experienced sleepless nights because you're unable to get into a comfortable position? This situation is typical when you experience any pain in your body. The best way to fall asleep and stay asleep fast is to get your body in a comfortable position in bed. It will also aid in healing and ensure a more productive sleep. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in a constant battle to fall asleep and even opt for unnecessary medication if you can't get into your best sleeping posture. With all of these different causes in mind, we can now move on to the cure. But it's just as important to study all the factors that cause insomnia. But did you know that there are also risk factors of insomnia? If you find some of these risks apply to you, then you simply have a higher chance of having insomnia at some point in your life. Otherwise, pay attention to your health and sleep habits to make sure that you're insomnia-free for the rest of your life. The brain of an insomniac. Researchers all around the world are putting their minds together to figure out how the brain of an insomniac works. They continue to look towards the features of all the brainwaves and how the thoughts interact during the day and night. How the mind works during every hour of the day. The mind is able to adapt itself to any new situation. Whether you're trying to get food, get a drink, get out of the car, walking through a door, or just get some rest, the mind will constantly try to find new ways to survive and flourish. It will continue through the cycle of getting enough resources during the day and have enough energy to heal and rest during the night. Normally, people with a healthy level of brainwaves with satisfactory cognitive stability during the day are able to shut down parts of the brain's thought process during the night. As night falls deeper, the brain will begin to slow down and initiate sleep. Your alertness and focus typically decrease when it's nighttime. This is the reason why a person finds it harder to complete many tasks at night. Studies show that the process of the mind will naturally change throughout the day, and sometimes it will cause a major form of anxiety. It is when the brainwaves become erratic and refuse to slow down due to an immense amount of stress during the day. Therefore, the mind will not be able to relax completely at night. Instead, it will go through a period where the brainwaves will move unusually fast, causing more thoughts and consuming more energy in the evening. Everything that a person has been through during the day will be recollected at night. The body will then run through twice the amount of energy and resources to process the thoughts, and this causes fatigue and lack of energy the following day. The brain of the restless mind. Another research was done to find out how stress and anxiety affect sleep. The goal was to determine whether a person with a stressful lifestyle has insomnia, and how the brain responds at night. And here's the result: the cognitive function of the brain doesn't change regardless they have insomnia or not. However, insomniacs find it more challenging to focus and process information throughout the day. Most research shows that the mind of insomniacs wanders during the night. They will have difficulty concentrating the next day, they'll face challenges in managing their work, studies, and even their personal lives. In other words, the mind will find it difficult to function optimally the next day, and insomniacs are unable to perform at their best. Another part of the research compared the memory function and the efficiency to complete any tasks given to insomniacs and to those who had enough rest. Studies show that insomniacs are not able to recall most of their memories during the day. As a result, they face difficulty in completing their daily tasks. Their minds would wander even when they're performing simple tasks. For example, when it comes to preparing breakfast, those with a healthy amount of sleep will go to the kitchen, make quick choices, and start their day. On the other hand, those who are suffering from insomnia will enter the kitchen, end up opening more cabinets, looking through the same foods, and unable to figure out what they should have for breakfast. And here's the explanation: an insomniac's brainwaves are slower, and this will cause him or her to move at a slower pace and forget simple things quickly. Furthermore, as they go on through the day and as more tasks come their way, the prefrontal cortex will begin to have fewer resources, and the brainwaves will become erratic. The brain will try to stay active, but it won't have enough energy to process everything. Therefore, the brain will exhaust itself eventually if you're suffering from insomnia. Sleep-starved, the devil the mind was explored to understand how insomnia directly affects the brain. Having this disorder for any amount of time will cause a massive negative impact on the mind. Besides memory loss, insomnia also results in tiredness, carelessness, and lack of alertness the next day. The mind and body both need to rest in order to function well the next day. If there is no rest, then the gray matter, memory, and elaborate duties of the mind will crumble, and insomniacs will have a difficult time getting through the day. Dealing with insomnia. It's hard to deal with insomnia when you have no energy left inside you. You'll feel tired all the time and care less about things that are happening around you. Your mind will wander, and oftentimes those thoughts don't make any sense. Life itself is already hard enough. Now, imagine adding in the fact that you are not getting any rest and have to deal with every obstacle life presents you. How would you feel? Overwhelmed? Stressed? You might end up wasting time at your workplace. You might fail to prepare your family meals and upset your children. You might start forgetting about all the little things that you usually do for your romantic relationship. Many areas in your life can go south due to insomnia. With all these in mind, now is the time to protect yourself from losing sleep and get optimal rest every night. The cure, natural and artificial remedy. Sleep is incredibly important for health. We need sleep for our bodies to heal and rejuvenate from our day's activities. Unfortunately, many people either have difficulty falling asleep or simply don't get enough sleep, which is where insomnia remedies come in. There are two basic categories when it comes to insomnia remedies. 1. Artificial remedy. The first is an artificial remedy. This type of remedy or medicine can be found in the pharmacy and clinic. They are usually prescribed to target the sickness at the source. Artificial remedy usually costs a bomb, but it typically delivers fast results. Most medicine today is toxic, filled with harmful chemicals that are not safe to be consumed for a prolonged period of time. 2. Natural remedy. The other kind of remedy is called natural remedy. People have practiced natural medicine for centuries. This type of remedy utilizes the body's natural healing process for beating insomnia. It is often less expensive, but what makes them stand out is the fact that they're not as toxic as artificial remedy. Regardless of which kind of remedy you choose, the goal is to help you fall asleep and stay asleep. These remedies are meant to aid you to get more rest at night. Most of these remedies will cause drowsiness, so it's best to take them right before bed unless it states otherwise. It is also important to make sure that you talk to a doctor before getting any medication listed below. 1. S-Zopiclone, also known as Lunesta, is a group of drugs capable of putting you to sleep easily and quickly. Statistics show that Lunesta can put most people to sleep for an average of 7 to 8 hours. It's a strong group of drugs, so make sure you stay away from it unless you're able to have a full night rest to prevent grogginess. FDA limits the drug dosage to be not more than 1 mg. Any more than that might bring upon the risk of grogginess the next day. 2. Ramelteon. This group of drugs functions differently. It doesn't cause adverse effects to the users such as grogginess, drowsiness, and so on. Common drugs used to induce sleep targets the CNS, central nervous system, depressing its functions and put the user in a sleepy state. Ramelteon, on the other hand, targets specifically the sleep-wake cycle. This drug is prescribed to those who have difficulties falling asleep. Due to the lack of side effects, Ramelteon can be prescribed for long-term use. The drug has also shown no history of abuse or dependence. 3. Zaleplon, also known as Sonata. Most drugs have a long activation time in the human body. Sonata isn't one of them. Among all the latest sleeping pills, Sonata managed to stay active in the system for the shortest amount of time. In other words, this drug leaves little to no side effects the next morning. For instance, if a person has difficulty falling asleep, a pop of Sonata pill will help him fall asleep without feeling off the next day. 4. Doxepin, also known as Siliner. This group of drugs is prescribed specifically to those who have difficulty staying asleep. You can say that this is an artificial remedy for the light sleepers who easily wake up at night due to a minimal amount of stimuli. It acts by suppressing the histamine receptors, thus aiding your sleep maintenance after you've fallen asleep. As this drug requires you to stay asleep for a set amount of time, do not consume Siliner unless you're able to sleep in for full 7 to 8 hours at night. The dosage depends on your response to treatment, health, and age. 5. Benzodiazepines. Benzodiazepines are useful for both short-term and long-term insomnia. It has a lasting effect on the body as it stays in the system for a long time. So, for those who've had insomnia for a long time, this drug can aid them in their journey to full recovery. It's commonly used to treat prolonged nightmares and sleepwalking. As the effect of this drug is unyielding, you might feel tired and drowsy the next day. Another side effect of this medication is that this drug can result in drug dependence, meaning that you might have to rely on this drug to fall asleep and stay asleep in the future. Benzodiazepines can be found in sleeping pills triazolam, Halcion, alprazolam, Xanax, temazepam, Restoril, and others. It is important to get a medical evaluation before you take any sleeping pills. Visit a doctor for a thorough examination. Always consult your doctor about the adverse effects of any medication before deciding which pills to take. Each drug can cause different side effects. The side effects can be a headache, severe allergic reaction, prolonged drowsiness, to just name a few. On the other hand, some would prefer to go for natural remedies instead. You don't have to depend on chemicals with harmful adverse effects, especially upon waking up. Instead, why not use natural remedies to repair your sleep cycle and put an end to insomnia? 1. Go camping. When the lure of the TV or fiddling on the phone keeps you up late at night, it's time to grab the tent and go camping. Stay away from electronic devices and enjoy a digital detox once in a while. Put yourself in a distraction-free zone and be mindful of your surroundings and yourself. Utilize this time to meditate, do some yoga, write, recollect your thoughts, or simply breathe. According to several studies, campers who stay away from gadgets and practice winding down rituals such as meditating or listening to music fell asleep about 2 hours earlier than usual. Another important point to remember is that digital devices contribute to insomnia. It is found that artificial light sources can negatively affect circadian rhythms. Try sleeping on the ground, not in your car or cabin. That way, you'll get grounded and be one with nature. Regardless of what you do during camping, the ultimate goal is to relax, remove yourself from distractions and demands from others, to stay away from artificial light, and be one with nature. Bath under the natural sunlight and fall asleep when the sun goes down. In no time at all, you'll reset your sleep rhythms. 2. Music therapy. Music has been used since ancient times to combat insomnia. It is a healing tool that can help to ease anxiety, which can contribute to poor sleep quality. The major advantage of this technique is that it's easy to use and has no side effects. There are many different types of music therapies, and they differ in the types of neurological stimulation they evoke. For instance, classical music can be a powerful tool for comfort and relaxation, while rock music may cause discomfort. Try to go for soft, relaxing music that has sounds of nature like the ocean, birds, waterfall, etc. Several studies showed that people who listened to calming music before going to bed had improved sleep quality during the night than people who don't. Hence, if you're having trouble falling asleep, this could be a solution. 3. Power down for better sleep. Sleep is not an on and off switch. Your body needs time to unwind and ready itself for shut-eye. Insomniacs often find it difficult to shut off their brain at night. You can try to power down for better sleep. This technique aids in quieting things down so that your body will understand that it's time to get some rest. To set the stage for sleep, it is significant to unwind and dim our mind. For instance, if you take a warm before bedtime, it'll create a drop in body temperature, triggering the body to start prepping for sleep. By taking a warm shower, your body temperature will slow down metabolic functions like breathing, digestion, and heart rate. Your body will understand that it's time to slow down and relax. If you have the habit of listening to music before heading to bed every night, your body will be conditioned that listening to music at night signals bedtime. It's all about habits and conditioning. Carve out at least half an hour of wind-down time before bed to do breathing or relaxation exercises to clear your mind. The goal of this power-down hour is to signal your brain that it's time to wind down, relax, and sleep. 4. Sleep in a cool room. Those who have got a problem falling asleep usually have a higher core body temperature immediately prior to falling asleep as compared to their healthier counterparts. Thus, this group of insomniacs needs to wait for at least 2 to 4 hours before their body temperature lowers and initiates sleep. Research shows that the optimal room temperature for sleep is between 16 to 20 degrees Celsius. When you're trying to sleep, your brain enjoys the cold environment. Besides, sleeping in a cold bedroom also helps in anti-aging. It aids in releasing of anti-aging hormones known as melatonin, a potent antioxidant that tackles inflammation, strengthens the immune system, and prevents cognitive deterioration and cancer. There's a saying that those who go to bed early and rise early live longer. It makes a lot of sense considering that sleeping in a cold bedroom reduces neurodegeneration and oxidative stress. I can go on and on regarding the anti-aging benefits of having a good night's sleep in a cold environment. But the key to enhancing the production of anti-aging hormones in your body is to have a night of adequate sleep. And the first step to do that is to create an optimal sleeping environment by lowering the bedroom temperature. Insufficient sleep brings a lot of harmful effects on your physical and mental health. Ultimately, it can put your life at risk. So make sure to fix your sleeping habits, and you can begin doing so by creating an optimal sleeping environment. 5. Break a sweat. Exercise early. It's no secret that exercise improves sleep and overall health. But a study published in the journal Sleep shows that the amount of exercise done and when the workout makes a difference. Researchers found that women who exercise at a moderate intensity for at least 30 minutes each morning, 7 days a week, have less trouble sleeping than women who exercise less or later in the day. Morning exercise seems to positively affect our body rhythms that in turn improves our sleep quality. One of the reasons for this interplay between exercise and sleep may be body temperature. Your body temperature rises during exercise and takes up to 6 hours to drop back down to normal. It's because cooler body temperatures link to better sleep. So it's important to give your body time to cool down before bed. Sleep is a crucial part of our health and healing. Take it seriously, and seek out the help of a functional medicine practitioner if you can't get your sleep under control. All these require discipline and commitment. Once you reset your biological clock and fall back into the normal sleep rhythm, you'll finally enjoy the benefits of restful, restorative sleep. Switching off, battling insomnia. Fighting insomnia is an uphill battle. When you are trying to cure insomnia, you are actually trying to stop your mind from being too active at night. There is no reason to be afraid of staying up for countless nights in a row and wondering if it is all going to end. How to switch off at night. The first thing you should do after you have eaten dinner and cleaned up for the night is to turn off any of your electronic devices. Having your phone or computer switched on when you are getting ready for bed will stimulate your brain, and it will eventually hinder your sleep. Admit it, your electronic devices are addictive, and you won't know when to stop. The light will interfere with your sleep pattern and cause you to stay wide awake. It's recommended to avoid using your gadgets at all costs at least 1 hour before bedtime. Reading before sleep is fine, but not through your electronic devices. Reading a physical book as a hobby before bed actually helps you in getting ready to sleep. It's better not to read in your bedroom. You're encouraged to read in another room since you do not want your mind to be active in the room that you need to fall asleep in. Again, to condition your mind to switch off the moment you step into your bedroom. If you can completely relax when reading a book, then it's fine to do it while laying down in bed. Otherwise, it's best to read in another room. The next thing you can do is listen to music and write down any kind of reminders that you will need for the next day. The music will help you to calm your mind and remove your stress away. Try to listen to music that is smoother and slower in rhythm. Listening to anything that is loud or exciting will stimulate the mind, and it will be harder for you to fall asleep. For instance, you'll find yourself in a much relaxed state when you listen to classical music than rock music. Staying awake in bed while constantly reminding yourself that you need to remember something will keep your mind active. Think of your notepad as a dump it and forget it vault. Simply grab a piece of paper and scribble a few notes down. It will help you calm down and fall asleep faster. Another thing that you can do is have a relaxation drink such as tea right before bed. However, make sure that you stay away from caffeine, alcohol, and drinks with a high amount of sugar. A nice cup of tea can calm your mind down and helps your body to relax. This is also an excellent way to create time for yourself. A time to quiet down and relax. You can do this while either reading or listening to music. If you don't find pleasure in drinking tea, then consider having a light snack before bed. Do not consume anything that is too high in calories and difficult to digest. Regardless, a light snack is good because sometimes, the reason why you're having trouble getting to sleep is simply due to hunger. Another way to ensure restful sleep is to bring down your room temperature. The best way to do this is to set your bedroom thermostat to be a bit cooler. Our body is conditioned in a way that when it enters a cooler environment, it will get a signal that it's time to rest. Also, why not take a quick shower right before bed? Preferably a cold shower to immediately cool down. Otherwise, you can try to get a bed fan, a cooler mattress, or go for a short walk before bed. All of the things listed above can be a part of your bedtime routine. Go ahead and try them out and figure what works best for you and your schedule. In no time at all, you won't have any trouble falling asleep and staying asleep again. Conclusion: find out which of these methods work best for you and implement them into your daily routine. Write them down and imagine how your average day looks like when you add these strategies to your routine. Only by trying them out, you can find out the best way for you to overcome insomnia.